Hey friends, and welcome to the House of Jen. I have to tell you, I am super excited to be flower arranging with you. It has been a moment since we have gotten together to do flowers, and I have a bunch of flowers I got. Some I got at Trader Joe's, others just at another store because they didn't have everything that I wanted at the time. They usually do. It was just, for some reason, it was when we had gone, I don't think they were probably about to get their fresh selection in. But if you could just smell this gorgeous lily, I love, love, love when Trader Joe's has lilies, and you want to get some where the bulbs are not completely opened up. But let's jump in. Let me tell you what we're going to do today. I have this gorgeous little white bowl, and we are going to make a winter arrangement. So before we jump in, like, subscribe. I love floral arrangements. I love creating all things creative. So jump on in with us at the House of Jen, and we are going to create a fabulous flower arrangement. Okay, so one tip when you are creating flower arrangements, I have these roses here over by flowers, okay? I was fortunate enough at Publix, they had BOGO flowers, and sometimes when they have BOGO flowers, the flowers are not good. I was fortunate enough to score some very fresh flowers over by. And then also consider how many arrangements are you going to make. So I am going to create this arrangement here. I want it to be kind of like a wintry kind of feel to it, a winter arrangement. But I'm also going to create some other vases after this. So always over by. Winter and eucalyptus, I don't know, they go together like, you know, peanut butter and jelly. They are just so beautiful, these beautiful eucalyptus pieces. And look how like ginormous this one piece is. Like, oh my goodness. I love how like just effortlessly flamboyant. They have their own, it looks like they're going to fly away like a little bird. I love them. So we are going to first build out our greenery. Look at these gorgeous pussy willow branches. I absolutely love these too. They're very wintry. They look like snowdrops. So I'm going to stop being so scattered. I feel like I need more caffeine. Do y'all ever feel like that? Okay, and we are just first going to create our little leaf arrangement here. I'm going to just start snipping. I have a variety of my little shears, and I think I want to actually kind of get the side branches first so I can use those and just start snipping these. Oh, that's so nice. I love this one. Actually, let's go ahead and use this piece. This is fantastic. I'm going to take some, and I have this wet floral foam brick, and it's already been pre-soaked in floral food in some bleach water. Now you could, if you wanted to create a huge arrangement, you could have the lip of this going about 2 fingers up above your vessel, but because my arrangement is not going to be as large today, we're just going to go with what we got. Okay, so got my eucalyptus branch here. This is going to be so fun. I'm just going to build out all of our mechanics of greenery first, and we're just going to snipperoo. All right, so now, y'all, this branch has so many. I love the eucalyptus. I got 2 varieties, by the way. I got this other variety here, but I'm going to start off with these. And for the scale of the piece, I feel like that looks pretty good. It's not so like, you know, if I were to take this huge branch and just stick it in there, I mean, you could do that, but you really kind of want to respect the scale of the piece. It's kind of like when we first got this house, we stuck a dining room table in here. And y'all, it was ginormous. And my husband was like, I really think we need to get a smaller table. And I thought, well, I like our dining room table. It was gorgeous. It had, you know, out of style now, but it had the beautiful, like, ornate wood with the beautiful, like, cloth seating. And you could not walk around the dining room. And so same thing, you want to kind of look at the scale of your vessel, and you don't want it to be completely overwhelmed. Okay, you just don't. So we're going to stick some of the greenery all in here, and I'm really just going to build it out. I like how this piece has some dangly pieces on the side. We're just going to build this out. Again, I'm going to start on the sides, but I also want to kind of create some more trellises. I don't really know the word trellises, but just more depth and definition. I'm going to come back here to add almost like a wall, like, you know, in gardening, like you have these structured like mazes that you kind of walk through. I similarly want to build out our structure, and then we can kind of have some creative play within this structure. Okay, so I am purposely angling this out down so that it'll have kind of a dangling kind of a quality here. So we are not quite in February. We are still in January as I'm making this arrangement. And I don't like to totally rush winter. I like to enjoy the beauty of the season. This is like the big snow weekend for the United States, where certain areas are getting snow. We avoided that where we are at, but if y'all are getting snow or are in a snow area, please comment below if you've recently gotten snow. I am curious to see which areas got snow. You know, people are usually like a love-hate snow relationship. I've never really seen people that are like, you know, nonchalant, neutral about it. People usually are like, I don't want it to snow, or I can't wait for it to snow. I like it when it's pretty. I don't really like it when it messes everything up. Okay, so this bigger piece right here, I like it just like this. And we're going to come in the back. Actually, that's a little bit large. A little large and in charge. Now, always take off these little branches here because you don't want them in the way. And I have to kind of stand back to see my piece. I want this one kind of coming up here. Always check the angle. Do you want it facing this way? Think about how it's going to look on your piece. I kind of want it all like a conversation amongst the branches, and we want them to kind of all cascade. Because if I angled it this way facing towards me, it would almost be like someone crossing their arms and they're like mad at each other. So you want these to kind of have a cooperative swoop, okay? Now, when I add these in, this other type of eucalyptus, they can have their little personality, right? They can have their own little dingle hopper personality. In fact, I think I'm going to add one of these in, and that's when we can kind of, you know, just have these going straight up or out to the side. Let's see, how do I want this one? I kind of want it more straight up, and so I'm just going to stick it in right there. Okay, I think that looks good. And take another little piece. What's great about eucalyptus is you have some that are straight, some that are angled, and then you can really kind of dictate the personality of the piece. Now, I like little clusters because it kind of shows how they all belong together. And so this one's going to kind of angle out, and I'm going to put a third one right here so that we have our little cluster family of eucalyptus. Okay, we're going to add one more. Again, this is the time. Once you stick it in the foam, it's in there, buddy. So you better, you know, decide which angle you are going to have it. So that looks like they're touching. I don't really like that. This is kind of coming out and it has more dimension. Kind of like that. I think we're going to go with this, having it kind of face forward because this is where I like it. So we're going to put that in like that. All right. There we go. And that works. Okay, y'all. I need to keep going on with my eucalyptus. We're going to grab another little bunch here. One thing that I always don't do that I would suggest doing is I'm always having to untangle my branches. I don't know if you've seen my videos before, but I'm always fighting with myself on this. And I don't think I will put them all together. I think we'll do them separately so that I'm not fighting with them. Okay, but I need to focus on the process. All right, this is enjoyable. This is fun. And I love putting these in bathrooms because they just kind of give an ambiance. And I'll tell you what, eucalyptus, oh my goodness, eucalyptus lasts like forever. I don't know what it is, but there's been times that I have just put the eucalyptus in my bathroom and like for a long time, it's still gorgeous. When I say a long time, I'm talking beyond weeks, like into months. It's crazy, like how beautiful eucalyptus can be. Oh, look, we have a little river here. They only had one of this little greenery bunch. Okay, little tip. When you go pick out your flowers, don't skimp on the greenery, okay? You want to get a lot of greenery because it's really going to make a really beautiful arrangement. Okay, now I could keep fussing and building this out, which I probably will, but we are going to go on to hydrangeas. Now you are going to love hydrangeas, especially, I always say it kind of looks like poodle fur. Look how beautiful that hydrangea variety is. But when you're creating low vessel bowl pieces, you want something to be somewhat big because it's going to cover a lot of surface area. Okay, so here's our decision. Do we want to make it big coming up or do we want to make it low? I definitely want to make it low, okay? I feel like it's going to cover more. And so I am definitely going to make this piece low and I'm going to put it right about here because I want it kind of tucked in. Oh, that looks so good. Oh my goodness. I am obsessed with green and white pieces. Absolutely, absolutely obsessed. Okay, so I am really tempted to add in another one of these little eucalyptus pieces. And I already can tell that I'm wanting to do different heights. And this is where we can really kind of play, okay? So this is kind of the little backstage for our flowers with the whimsy and the hydrangeas. I am going to get another hydrangea and we are going to make it go into three. So I really want the hydrangeas to kind of be the star of the show. I hate getting rid of these leaves. Maybe I can save them. Okay, maybe I can save them. I think they're so pretty. We are just going to see if we can keep them for this arrangement. Okay, I'm going to stick this one here right next to it. And then always think about angles. See how I have this one angled down and it's stair step down. but it's a similar height, okay? I don't know if you can see how that's a similar height, but stair-stepped down, almost like stadium seating. And I'm also going to use the third hydrangea, and I want to put it right here, okay? Now look at this leaf. Do you think I'm going to keep this leaf? No. There's a brown spot on this leaf. Always, 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 if you see ridiculous leaves or insect chomped leaves, get rid of them. Get rid of them. That is a no-brainer. Okay, so this one, I'm wanting to stick in here, and I'm wanting to put it, I want to position where I put it first and plant it. I really like, let's see, do I like that angle? Do I like that angle? Or do I like that angle? I like this angle. So that is always, always position like you would a camera or something, and decide your flowers. Okay, decide where you want them to go, because otherwise, once you stick it in that foam, it's like a commitment. Okay, I mean, you can take it out, but it makes it more difficult because there is a hole in there, and you only have so much circumference and wiggle room. Oh my goodness, this is one of those less is more. I did get a bunch of different flowers, but I got to tell you, what I have learned is don't try to use everything. Like if I was getting dressed, okay, and I had on a black dress, okay, I would not want to put on a black dress with a yellow polka dotted blouse and a pink fuchsia coat. I mean, it's kind of like that with flower arranging. You don't want to use all of everything. You want to, as you're creating your piece, to be a little selective. Okay, let's not forget about these gorgeous euryngum, okay? I really like, the reason why I picked the euryngum is because I liked the color palette, how it looks next to the eucalyptus, okay? And I really kind of want these kind of cascading, almost like a waterfall coming down the angle over here, okay? But I want them to also kind of be tucked in, and so we're going to have to go shorter. And I could keep them all together, or I could separate them. What do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to put them all together, okay? But I do want to angle them coming out this way. Okay, we're just going to stick them in here. Make sure they're in there. Good. Okay, that looks good coming out right there. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. These are kind of spidery, kind of beautiful euryngum. I love those. I absolutely, absolutely love those. Those are gorgeous. We're going to put those right there. Okay, now we're going to build out with some more greenery. I need some greenery right here to come out and angle down. So I'm going to take this beautiful little drippy piece, and it has personality. You can kind of manipulate and make it pliable with your fingers, and I suggest that you do that, especially when you have this type of bendy, kind of drapey material. Okay, so we're doing really, really, really good. There are some gaps. I'll show you. I'm going to pick up this piece and show you and turn it around. What I typically do here, if I don't have a lot of flowers, is I will just build up my greenery, okay? So especially if you were doing a lot of arrangements and you're replicating arrangements, and you have, let's say you're planning a wedding and you're doing a DIY flower arrangement, you want to have a plan and you want them to all be pretty similar, okay? I think we need some more greenery is what we're going to do. I'm not sure. I have these gorgeous lilies, but I'm wanting to probably use them for a vase piece. And although these would be, I'll just show you what they would look like. Like how gorgeous would these be? Like you could even put these kind of in the back, which would be really super lovely. But because I just love how these smell, and I feel like they're going to last longer in vases, I want to kind of respect the life of these flowers, and we are going to use them for a different arrangement. Okay, I love that these are angled, and that way we can decide which way we want them angled. Okay, so I could put them this way, but that doesn't make sense, right? And so I think it looks more fun that way. In fact, they're too angled. I'm looking at them again, and they're too angled. If you have extra pieces, you really want to decide which one you want. Okay, I think I just want a straight piece. The more I think about it, this really needs to have a little more order to it. So we're just going to take off another piece of greenery, and I'm just going to build out my back here and just add some more little greenery. This is going to be kind of a spa, winter spa-like piece. And whenever you're creating a wintry spa-like piece, you want a lot of eucalyptus. Okay, that looks really, 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 really good. What do I need? I think I need more eurangium. I need more eurangium, okay? And I have that piece there. And so I think it might be really lovely to put a little bit in the back over here, coming down. Okay, that could be lovely. Just kind of in the back. So that if somebody does turn around the piece, or you want to see kind of that 360 view, and I'm actually going to take one piece at a time. You can take the bunch and you can kind of sprinkle them in. That way you can make them lower right there. And the reason why I'm doing that is I don't want this floral foam to show, okay? So you also have to remember that when you have a bowl, you want to cover up some of your mechanics. And so this one, we can kind of make it look like the star. It kind of juts out and it covers that foam, which I really like. And we're just going to make it come low down here. Okay, so that really kind of took care of that. And then I can always add a few more dangling little eucalyptus, which I think I'm going to do. And we're just going to put a few down here. There we go. And it just kind of, what you do in the front, you kind of want to echo some pieces coming down on the back. And that way, you have your 360 mirror, right? It's kind of like when you have an outfit, you want to turn around, make sure everything is tucked in. Okay, so I'm just adding in a few more of these little eucalyptus. Again, I thought I was going to use these branches, but I think I'm going to save them to make more of a whimsical vase piece. You could snip these down and add those, but for me, it almost takes away from this little eucalyptus garden that we are kind of creating. And I am just loving the look of just the eurangium and the eucalyptus, and just making little clusters of eucalyptus here, eurangium. I do feel like it needs something here. Maybe perhaps more eurangium or a rose. or a couple of roses. So let's see what it looks like if we were to add a little white rose. I don't think roses are needed in this piece. I just feel like the hydrangeas are the star of the show. And so that is going to literally be the only flower that I use. And I'm just going to add in more euryngenium. Do you see why I'm doing that? Because sometimes it's less is more, okay? And so I don't want to, the only flowers that I want this to be more of a smaller scale piece. And the only flowers that I'm using for this piece are the hydrangeas. So I'm just going to have these coming out like this, where the gap is, and have them all come together. Okay, see, that's perfect. That was the right decision for my piece of what I've wanted to create. Okay. Less is more. Okay, see, we have the blues, we have the eucalyptus spilling out, we have more of the structured eucalyptus in the back, and then we have our hydrangeas. Now this would be beautiful like at a nail salon, in your home, in a bathroom, over a bathtub area. It's very tranquil, very easy, fun to create. And I'm so happy with how it turned out. Again, sometimes you don't have to use everything that you buy. You have to feel creative and use the color palette. We used the cool blues and the whites, and I think it really came together. So thanks for watching. Hope this inspired you today, and happy creating.